Now I want to look at the quotient rule. Similar, but not exactly the same. When looking at the quotient rule, anytime we are now dividing with the same base, we are going to keep our base and subtract our exponents. The way that, it's multiple ways of trying to get yourself to remember the difference between these rules, the product rule, quotient rules, and the rules to follow. The way that I remember it is product multiply is going to be more. So I know to add the exponents. Quotient division. So I think about less, like dividing the amount of money I have or dividing the amount of peace I have amongst a few people. I think I'm going to have less, so I know to subtract it. People have different ways of thinking about things and different ways of remembering things. So just use what you feel you need to make sure that you remember which skill to use and when. So when dividing with the same base, keep the base, subtract the exponents. So if I have x to the power of m divided by x to the power of n, I know to keep that base x and subtract the exponent. So I end up with x to the power of m minus n. Quick example, I have 2 to the power of 6 divided by 2 to the power of 2. I know to keep that base of 2, and then I'm going to subtract those exponents, which leaves me with 2 to the power of 4. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 gives me 16. Guys, do not forget to simplify. You want to make sure, yes, you use that rule. You do everything you need to do, but you also simplify so that you can have that final answer. All right, it's time for some practice. I want to practice that quotient rule just like we practiced that product rule. Let's go. All right, let's look at some examples using our quotient rule. Example number 1. So we have x to the power of 5 divided by x to the power of 2. Let me scoot that down. So remember, anytime we are using our quotient rule, we are keeping our base, which is x, and we are subtracting our exponents. So I end up with x to the power of 3. Simple. Anytime you are dividing with the same base, keep the base, subtract the exponents. Make sure you simplify. Example number 2. Let's say we have 3 to the power of 4 divided by 3 to the power of 2. Again, anytime we are dividing with the same base, we use our quotient rule, which says keep the base and subtract the exponents. In this case, 4 minus 2 gives us 3 to the second power. Do not forget to simplify to its simplest form, which is equal to 9. 3 times 3 is equal to 9. Very, very simple. Let's turn it up just a notch. I'm going to go ahead and scoot this up a bit. Let's say example number 3. We have x to the second power times y to the fifth power divided by x to the first power times y to the third power. I can do this 2 ways. I'm going to break it apart. Let's say I have x squared divided by x times y to the fifth divided by y third. This gives us 2 minus 1, which is just x. 5 minus 3, which is y to the second power. And that will be our final answer there. Very simple. Dividing with the same base. Keep the base, subtract the exponents. 2 minus 1. Remember, when you don't see an exponent there, that means it's a 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. Keep our base y. 5 minus 3 is 2. Very, very simple. All you need to do is remember, anytime you are dividing with the same base, you keep your base and you subtract that exponent.